Imagine high school. Maybe you're picturing, rows of desks, blackboards. Now think ahead. What if your teenager was working with an AI? Not just solving a math problem, but maybe predicting something real world, like how much food the school cafeteria actually needs, cutting down waste before it even happens. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's really starting to happen in Austin high schools.
Yeah, and what's really key here is that in Austin, adding AI isn't just like a surface level thing. Schools are fundamentally rethinking how they teach around it. So for you, as a parent listening, the big question becomes, which kind of school, which environment is really going to foster the mindset needed for this AI-driven future?
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. Think of this as your compass, maybe, helping you navigate how AI is being woven into these schools. What are the real advantages for your child? And what makes these forward-thinking schools, well, different? Our goal is to help you understand enough so your student can become. I liked how one of our sources put it. Architects of a future we are only beginning to imagine.
Right. And if you look at the bigger picture, you just can't ignore how fast AI is moving into, well, everything, especially learning. The old way, focusing a lot on memorization, it just doesn't cut it when information is everywhere. What matters now is what our sources are calling cognitive agility. That's thinking critically, connecting ideas creatively, adapting all the time. And AI, it's a catalyst here. It makes personalized learning possible on a scale we couldn't really do before, almost like a master tailor crafting a bespoke suit, right?
Well, for education.
And that's the core takeaway we found. The top high schools here in Austin, they're not just adding AI as an extra. It's becoming fundamental. It's turning classrooms into these dynamic labs where students are active participants in their own personalized learning connected to real stuff. Okay, so let's get into it. Why is AI becoming such a big deal in education right now? Well, I mean, just look around. AI's impact across almost every industry is huge. It speaks for itself, really. Thinking about your child's future, understanding AI, being able to work with it, that's probably not going to be some niche skill. It'll likely be basic for a lot of jobs. And that's where schools that are really embracing AI offer some distinct advantages.
Such as?
Yeah.
What are we talking about specifically?
Okay, first, hyper-personalized learning trajectories. Our sources talk about how AI algorithms can actually change a student's learning path on the fly based on what they've mastered, where they're struggling, even what they're curious about. Think of algorithms as like smart instructions that learn from data.
Ah, okay. So instead of everyone marching lockstep, the learning itself adjusts to each kid.
Exactly.
Makes sense. What else? What other benefits?
Another big one is actively cultivating future critical competencies. By getting hands-on with the technologies that are literally shaping the future workforce now, students gain a really significant competitive edge. They're not just reading about AI, they're using it.
So it's like giving them a head start on the skills they'll actually need for their careers.
Precisely. And a third key advantage our sources brought up is amplified engagement through interaction. These AI tools aren't static textbooks. They can make really abstract ideas, complex stuff, much more tangible, more relatable. It turns passive listening into active exploration.
Right. It's the difference between just reading about the solar system versus, say, using an AI sim to actually move planets around and see what happens.
Exactly that. One source had a great analogy. Ignoring AI in education today is like trying to navigate using the stars when everyone else has GPS. It really highlights the risk, the potential disadvantage for students who aren't prepared.
Okay, so the why is clear. AI needs a seat at the table. Now, let's talk about who in Austin is really leading the charge here. Our sources pointed to a few key players. Let's start with Alpha School. What makes them stand out?
Alpha School is interesting because they've gone for a pretty radical redesign of the traditional model. They haven't just sprinkled AI on top their 2-hour learning framework. It's heavily AI-driven. It's designed for these super focused, deep work sessions, aiming for maximum understanding and innovation.
2-hour blocks. That sounds intense. How does AI fit into that specific structure?
It's fundamental, really. They use their own AI-driven personalization engine. It's proprietary algorithms analyzing how each student learns best, their speed, their cognitive style, and then it adapts to the lessons right then and there.
Wow, so the AI is constantly tweaking the experience for every single student in real time.
That's the core idea, yes.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just individual learning paths. Alpha really emphasizes problem-based AI projects. Students use AI tools to tackle complex, actual, real-world challenges. One source mentioned a project optimizing local traffic flow, and it even got recognized at the state science fair. That's applying it for real.
That is impressive. Not just textbook exercises, but using AI on actual problems people face. What about building specific AI skills?
They have what they call targeted AI skill acceleration. These are focused workshops, summer intensives, ways for students to really dive deep into specific AI areas like machine learning or data analysis and get up to speed pretty quickly.
Okay, so Alpha School Private, very AI-centric, innovative model. Now, shifting gears to the public sector, Northeast Early College High School, NECHS. What's their approach?
Jeunesse CHS is really notable for its strong partnership, a public-private synergy with Dell Technologies.
Yeah.
This gives their students access to incredible resources and, frankly, a real insider's view of AI in a major tech company.
So, like a direct connection to the industry.
Absolutely. They have a state-of-the-art STEM innovation hub, basically a dedicated space packed with advanced tech where students can get hands-on experimenting with AI.
That sounds amazing, especially for public school. And the Dell partnership, how does that work in practice?
It brings in embedded industry expertise. Dell provides mentors, and our sources indicated something like 70% of students in the AI track get internships before they even graduate.
Wow.
Yeah, that's direct exposure to industry challenges, industry applications, real-world stuff.
That's a huge leg up, not just theory, but actual work experience. And NECHS also connects this to the community, right?
Yes, they put a focus on community-focused AI solutions. It's project-based learning where students tackle local issues, like maybe using AI for local conservation efforts. It shows them AI isn't just abstract tech, it can be a tool for making a difference right where they live.
That's fantastic. Connecting learning to community benefit. Okay, now what about the big picture? The Austin Independent School District, AISD itself. How are they handling AI across all their different high schools?
ASD's main goal seems to be about democratizing AI literacy. They're really focused on broadening access, making sure AI education reaches their diverse student body. The big idea is getting all students a foundational understanding of what AI is and what it can do.
So making sure it's not just for a few kids and specialized programs.
Exactly. They've developed a scalable AI curriculum framework. It creates structured paths, taking students from the basic principles all the way up to more specialized applications. It builds their knowledge step by step.
And are they thinking about what comes after high school too?
Definitely. There's a clear focus on future pathways. AISD is actively preparing students both for college, especially in STEM fields, and for potentially stepping right into tech careers after graduation.
Setting them up for both routes, academic and professional. And given A's size and diversity, equity must be a big factor.
A huge factor. They have specific equity-centered initiatives. These are programs designed explicitly to ensure students from all backgrounds can access these AI programs and, crucially, succeed in them.
That's really good to hear that emphasis on making it accessible for everyone. Okay, so we have these different models, Office Redesign, MECJDIS Industry Link, A's D's Broad Access. But how does AI actually show up in the day-to-day learning? It's not just another class, right?
That's a really important point. These leading schools aren't just adding, like, an intro to AI elective and calling it done. AI is being woven into the existing curriculum, starting with revitalizing core subjects.
How does that work? Can you give an example?
Sure. Our sources talk a lot about adaptive Mathly platforms. These use AI to analyze, in real time, how a student is doing in, say, math or language arts. The platform then tailors practice problems, maybe offers different content based on that student's needs and speed. But importantly, it's not just about drill and practice. The goal is deeper understanding. The AI can help figure out why a student is stuck on a concept, not just that they are. It's like a super patient tutor adjusting constantly.
Okay, so it gives teachers much better insight into where individual students need help.
Exactly. Which leads to what the sources call data-eliminated pedagogy. Teachers use these AI analytics to see patterns across the whole class. They can spot common hurdles, see where students are excelling, and then adjust their own teaching to be much more targeted, like seeing a heat map of where the class struggles most.
That sounds like it could really help both ends of the spectrum, kids who are falling behind and kids who are ready to zoom ahead. What about digging deeper into AI itself?
Right, that's where the deep dive electives come in. These are actual courses focusing on things like coding. Python and R are common machine learning principles, neural networks, neural networks being loosely based on how our brain's neurons connect, and even really important stuff like AI ethics. These electives build a strong technical and critical foundation.
So students who are really into the tech side can go deep, and I gather this often leads to some pretty significant projects.
Yes, impactful capstone projects seem to be a key feature. Students get to design and build their own AI applications or conduct AI-powered research. Sources mention projects like using AI to analyze historical texts, or even composing music. It's about showing they've mastered the concepts by applying them creatively or to solve a problem.
Those sound incredibly challenging and rewarding. Real showcases of skill. And this isn't all just happening inside the school walls, is it? There are outside connections.
Absolutely. There's a growing emphasis on industry and research collaborations. It's not just one company like Dell. It's partnerships with universities like UT Austin, local tech incubators. This gives students exposure to different viewpoints, cutting-edge research, maybe even specialized equipment or data.
Creating a whole learning ecosystem, really.
Exactly. And to bridge that gap to college even more, many schools have university pathway programs. Things like dual credit courses, access to university-level AI seminars. It smooths that transition for interested students.
Okay, so let's bring this back to the parent listening. What are the tangible, concrete advantages their child gets from attending one of these AI-focused high schools?
Our sources point to several really clear benefits. First off, accelerated college readiness. Just getting exposure to these advanced AI ideas early on gives students a significant head start when they hit university courses in computer science, data science, engineering, you name it.
Right, like they already speak some of the language, understand the basic paradigms.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And think about college applications. Having real experience designing an AI project, that makes for a distinctive college application. It shows initiative, advanced skills, genuine passion that really stands out to admissions folks.
That makes total sense. Colleges want students with those demonstrated skills and drive. What about looking beyond college at careers?
Another major plus. They develop high-demand technical fluency. They get proficient in programming languages, AI platforms, skills employers are desperately looking for right now. This makes them way more competitive for internships in college and for jobs afterwards across a whole range of fields.
So they're learning the actual tools employers want.
Exactly. And there's also the early professional network. Through internships, mentorships, collaborative projects, they start building connections with industry professionals and like-minded peers while still in high school. That network can be invaluable later on.
Those connections are often just as critical as the technical skills, aren't they? Beyond the practical stuff, are there broader thinking skills they gain?
Oh, absolutely. Working with AI, especially designing and troubleshooting systems, really sharpens sophisticated analytical reasoning. One source had a great description. It demands the logic of, like, a philosophical debate combined with the detailed refinement of craft work. It truly hones logical thinking and problem solving.
That's a powerful image. It's not just coding, it's a whole way of approaching complex problems.
And related to that, they develop adaptive creative problem solving. They learn to use AI not just for analysis, but as a partner in exploring completely new solutions, innovative approaches.
Okay, this is building a really strong case for AI-infused education. To make the difference really stark, our sources contrasted these new approaches with traditional models. Let's quickly touch on those key differences.
Sure. If you look at the teaching method, the AI-infused approach is dynamic, personalized, adapting to the student. Traditional models, often more standardized, everyone gets the same thing at the same pace.
And the curriculum itself.
The curriculum core in these AI-forward schools tends to evolve much faster, trying to keep up with tech changes. Traditional curricula are often more static, updated, periodically.
What about the student's role? How does that change?
Big difference. In the AI environment, the student role is much more active. They're participants, co-creators of their learning path, almost. Traditional models often position the student as more of a passive receiver.
And how they're assessed. What's measured?
The assessment focus shifts. AI-infused schools tend to look more at application, problem-solving, iteration. Can you use the knowledge? Traditional assessment often leans more heavily on recall, standardized tests.
That contrast really hits home the fundamental shift in philosophy. Now, thinking about parents listening who have younger kids, maybe not in high school yet, what can they do now to kind of lay the groundwork for AI readiness?
That's a great question. The sources had some very practical suggestions. One key thing is to encourage computational thinking. This doesn't have to mean intense coding right away. It can start with visual tools like Scratch, drag and drop coding blocks, then maybe basic Python via free sites like Codecademy or Khan Academy, even logic puzzles, strategy board games. They all build those foundational skills.
So it's less about becoming a coder overnight and more about developing that logical step-by-step thinking.
Exactly. Another tip, explore local tech hubs. Museums like the Thinkery here in Austin, library coding clubs, maker fairs, getting kids hands-on and showing them tech is creative and accessible.
Getting them engaged early, showing them it's something they can play with and build with.
Right. And also foster project-based curiosity. If your kid identifies a problem, even a small one, encourage them to brainstorm. Could technology, even simple tech, be part of a solution?
Nurturing that problem-solving instinct early on,
Yeah,
so valuable.
it really is. And finally, demystify AI. There are fun online tools, Google's AI experiments, Teachable Machine, that let kids play with basic AI concepts in a really accessible way. It makes it less scary, more understandable.
Taking away the mystery, making it feel like a tool they can grasp. Okay, so for parents now actively looking at high schools, what specific questions should they be asking about AI integration? Our sources had a kind of checklist.
Yeah, this checklist is super useful. When you're looking at curriculum depth and integration, don't just take their word for it. Ask how AI is integrated with other subjects, history, art, whatever. Ask, what are the specific learning outcomes for the AI track? How do they keep the curriculum current with AI changing so fast?
Right. Getting beyond the brochure language to the specifics. What about the teachers?
For faculty expertise and development, ask about the teachers' backgrounds. Do they actually have AI or computer science experience? What ongoing training do they get? And maybe ask if you can chat briefly with an AI teacher to get their perspective.
Good idea. Hear it from someone actually doing the teaching. And the tech itself, the
Right.
resources.
Crucial. Under technological infrastructure and access, ask about the student-to-device ratio. What specific AI software or cloud platforms do students use? Is there tech support readily available for students if they hit a wall?
Because the best curriculum needs the right tools to back it up. Looking down the road, what are the bigger trends we might see as AI continues to evolve in Austin schools?
The sources suggest a few key directions. One is definitely expanding equitable access. There's a growing push to get strong AI programs into underserved schools, plus scholarships and support to close financial gaps.
Making sure it's not just a perk for some schools, but an opportunity for all kids.
Exactly. We'll probably also see deepening ecosystem integration, even more collaboration between high schools, UT, local startups, big tech companies, creating richer projects, more pathways.
That synergy between education and the tech world seems really powerful.
And finally, expect a growing focus on centering ethical deliberation. More discussion in the curriculum about AI societal impact, bias in algorithms, responsible innovation, preparing students to be thoughtful creators and users.
That ethical piece feels incredibly important as AI gets woven into everything. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the main takeaway for our listeners?
I think the key message is this. In a world being reshaped by AI, choosing a high school that strategically embraces it isn't just following a trend. It's a foundational investment in your child's ability to navigate and succeed in the future. These leading Austin schools are doing more than teaching tech skills. They're cultivating adaptability, critical thinking, creative problem solving, the core abilities needed for tomorrow.
Right, you're not just giving them access to fancy tools, you're helping them build the competence and the confidence to not just react to the future, but to actually help shape it.
So as parents consider their options, it's worth reflecting on the deeper implications. This choice is part of a huge societal shift. Giving your child an education that's truly relevant, truly transformative, that's maybe the biggest step you can take to unlock their potential.
And maybe a final thought to leave folks with. As we get better and better at using machines to optimize learning, how do we make absolutely sure we're also cultivating those uniquely human things? Empathy, ethical judgment, deep connection, those seem more important than ever. It's kind of an ongoing puzzle for all of us, isn't it?